All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another DC Worlds Collide video. This is Mr. Squirrel. As always, glad to have you here. Let's chat about my favorite character currently in the... Well, I have two favorite characters. We're going to talk about one right now because he is at badge 30 and rank 10. So remember, I like to do showcase videos, badge 30, rank 10. So it's badge 10 and then badge 10 with like rank 8 so that I have the artifact attached to them, and then a badge 30 rank 10 to show them at their pretty much, I don't want to say max point, but at a really strong point. We might even, if I get them rank 15, maybe we'll revisit these characters. I have made multiple videos where he is in the video. I'm going to showcase this character right now. Does he have the best gear in the world? No. But is he in a really strong state right now? Yes. He's currently sitting at 450, about 460 power. Rank 2, level 220, badge 30. So let's talk a little about what does he do. So Hal Jordan essentially is all about his ult and enhanced basic attack. Long story short, his ult at rank badge 30, rank 10 does 13 planes, each of which, so we'll go to the skill, does 13 planes, each of which do 100% of his attack power. Now, if he kills someone when he does his ult with one of those planes, he does another instance and another plane will come in. So you really want, he's kind of like Green Arrow in a sense. You want him doing it, being the closer, because then he's just going to keep doing more ult. Like he can get, like, if you killed like 2 people, he's doing now 15 planes, right? And that's a lot of damage. Now his enhanced basic attack, so there's a 60% chance that Hal's attack will be enhanced. While enhanced, he gains 10% attack and deals additional attack hit with his basic attack. So he does it twice and applies a shield to all allies. Now, what's really important about this is it cleanses 2 debuffs from Hal. He can cleanse stun or freeze. He can like literally be stunned, and then if you get the 60% proc, because it's rank 9, I think it is, and then at rank 10, it stays the same. But like he gets the 60% proc, he just gets out of the debuff, which is insane. It's crazy. Like, I love it. He'll be frozen and then not frozen, and then he just goes and does his attack. It's really awesome when it procs when you need it, and I've seen it proc pretty often when I need it. Sometimes it doesn't, and it is annoying when that happens, but it is what it is. It's RNG, right? Now, the other thing to talk about with him is that when this is a little bit more niche, this is if he's on a shield team. I don't really have him running per se on like a heavy shield team. When he's on Lex's team, this made a big difference. I do hope at some point, my hope is that they do release like a really crazy lantern character that works with Lex, and I can kind of run him back with that team. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. But let's come back to this. So what his passive does, his 5th passive does, is that when he uses ult, he will absorb his shield and give, like, let's just say it will absorb 1% of his shield up to 50%, and that will give him a damage bonus on his ult. So if he has a shield that's covering 50% of HP, his ult he'll absorb it, and that shield will buff the damage of his ult by 50%. If it's HP, if his shield covers 25% of his HP, then that would be a 25% damage bonus. What this essentially means is you do not want a lot of HP on Hal, because the smaller shields, then that means that it's covering up more of that percentage, which is really good. And then he's getting a huge damage bonus. Hal very much wants to close out the fight. Now, let's go back to, I have him running on 4 crit 2 attack because I do want as much crit on him as possible, so his ult is hitting as hard as possible. His badge, again, I will just say this, at rank 30, at badge 30, what it does, so if we can get here, it's because it's this. So at badge 30, what it does, bombardment deals 3 additional instances, so that it's just getting more instances. Now, this is where it gets crazy. During the casting of his ult, so in the turn that he casts his ult, each instance of the damage stacks 2% damage amplification for the subsequent instances, which means, so his first instance will be the weakest one. And then he keeps every instance, so of that 13%, so first instance is 2% damage bonus, then the next one's 4%, the next one's 6%, the next one's 8%. So when he kills someone, that just adds another instance and adds another damage bonus in that ult. So he's doing a lot of damage. His last plane is doing crazy amounts of damage, and you want it to crit in that, especially at the end, because then it's just like, I personally think his best artifact is the Chaos Crystal, because from round 2, 3, and 4, he has a 25% damage amplification. He's got lifesteal, and then he sacrifices 20% of his HP. Now, when you get this thing up to rank 3, it gives Frantic and Haste, which is also amazing. Which I have it at rank 3 right now, and then it also gives him 5% bonus lifesteal just in general. Right now, Hal is a beast on my teams. I'm actually going to showcase him in slightly different game modes, because one of the things that I love about Hal is that his ult hits random enemies, meaning he is both good in AoE and single target scenarios. This is why I love him, because you can throw him against a boss and he does well. You can throw him against AoEs and he does well. I think his best place is like 2 to 3 characters. So you know what we're going to do today? We're going to go do some team ups. And I was like, I don't really ever showcase team ups, and I think this would be a really cool time to showcase why I think he's such an amazing character. Is he operates in a mode that I think a lot of characters don't operate well in, because you really need characters that only want to hit like 2 characters, right? And he can work in AoE and he can work 2 characters or single target. So let's go over to do some team ups and kind of showcase what he's about. Okay, so this is great because I have him against Lex Luthor, who is a blue character. And we are currently, I think, on rank 16 Lex Luthor. This is on the advanced combat programming. Okay, so let's go into this game mode and let's kind of watch what he does here. All right. So again, we're up against Killer Frost and we're up against Lex Luthor, and let's see how Hal Jordan does. Now, again, I'm going to showcase him because this is where I think his best team is on whatchamacallit's team, Mr. T's team. So let's go. And I have this on auto so you can see kind of how I'm operating with this. I've mentioned this in other videos. The reason I have the Batmobile before Crypto is because the way my auto is set up is that it goes Hal, Jess, back to Hal. The reason I do it that way is because in this gives Hal the ability to, on his, I think it's round 3 or the second time he ults, he will have Crypto given the enemy dampen. He will have already procced his Chaos Crystal. The Chaos Crystal will have procced. So his second ult is legitimately just destroying. And we're going to see this here in a second. So there's Crypto. Okay. Now he's got a decent shield going on. Okay. We got more dampen stacks going here. Okay, he just got his shield to everybody. All right, now that is huge because now he's got a little bit of a shield going. He's going to turn that into damage. And again, this is a very difficult, I will just be honest with you, this fight, because again, we're going up a type disadvantage here. As you saw there, he was able to, like, as we're seeing in this mode right now, he is able to do a lot of damage to a boss, and we're going to go see in another instance I'm doing a lot of damage in an AoE scenario, which is why I think he's such a great character, because he can work in many game modes. And I think that is one of the most wonderful things about him as a character, because again, you do kind of run into this issue if you're going against bosses, like you need single target. Like Wonder Woman kind of, I mean, she does have her lasso, which is really good, but you know, her ult is AoE. Or what about, you know, like Deathstroke? Deathstroke's really good, right? But in AoE scenarios, he struggles a little bit. And so, you know, you've got these characters that only operate in certain circumstances. Meanwhile, Hal is working all over the place. And he can operate in single target, AoE. He can really kind of push content in a way that I haven't seen other characters be able to push. Granted, again, do I think there are other DPS that do really well? 100%. But I think he himself is just such an amazing character in his versatility, especially with Mr. T, because Mr. T just like super juices him to a whole nother level. Now, this team is also, this is very hard because yeah, at least I survived, right? Like, hey, whatever. This is also the first time I've hit 16. We'll come back now. And I want to showcase him in more traditional content on like an AoE scenario. So let's come back. Okay, so we're actually in Crisis Watch. I'm not going to do any of the missions here. What I want to showcase with Crisis Watch is when he's at equal like there's no deficit here. We're about equal in power. I'm a little over the power level, which is fine. I want to showcase what his ult can do I want to make sure it's set up the exact Okay, so what we're going to do here is I need to go back. And we're going to do this. I'm going to go deploy. Perfect. All right, so let's showcase him again. Same alt scenario, same. Oop, hold on. I was playing around with this yesterday. If you saw my video of pain, you will know what I'm talking about. And then we'll put Mr. T right here and we'll just play around like this. The goal here, again, I just want to showcase the amount of damage, especially when we're not dealing with deficits, that he can do, because he's a monster, especially if he kills someone. So we're going to see, there we go. We got one. All right. Like, he is such a tanky character, not tanky. He is such like a high DPS character, especially if he gets a kill. One of the reasons I also ult with him so early in a fight is because especially at higher deficits, as we're going to see in a moment. Sorry, I thought I got it again. As we're going to see in a moment, at higher deficits, he just, like, you need ult with him multiple times so that people can get really low in health, and then he can just execute them on the second time that he ults. So let's go see him at higher deficits real quick so that I can showcase kind of like what happens when you don't kill them in one single ult instant. Okay, so we're back at Convergence Central City. And what I want to showcase here is that when he ults in this scenario, he's not going to kill everyone, which is kind of problematic. So the goal here in the way I have this team set up is that when he ults the second time is to maximize the damage of that ult to the point where he can wipe out the entire enemy team in that second instance of an ult. So here, I'm just trying to get everyone lower. Hopefully get them low enough that when Jessica Cruz does ult, she can also, whatchamacallit, she might be able to proc her Risk Gauntlet and get 35% bonus damage to her basic attack, which just overall gives her a lot more damage. So this is right here why I run Superman on this team, because what he just did is instead of dying, see, there we go. And now, because she reduced the number of characters, Hal's second instance of his ult is now going to do insane levels of damage because he's only got 2 characters to worry about. You see how this is like this team kind of works together, but it also maximizes and builds on what Hal needs to do, which is I want to get them lower. And by the time turn 3 hits, it just, this thing will just like ruin the enemy team. So if I keep going, and mind you, I am dealing with a deficit of almost 1 million here. So my team is not like, oh yeah, it's super crazy. Oh no, I'm dealing with like 1 million, almost close to 1 million now deficit. This is like 2.7. My team's at like 1.7. So there is a pretty high deficit between my team and their team. And this is in the convergence right now. All right, we're moving. Now, again, you notice I'm not getting those kills, which is okay, but I'm setting up for the kill in the round 3. I just need to make it to round 3. That's the whole purpose of this team, is to make it to round 3. That's all I want my team to do. Get me to round 3 so Hal can hit that second ult and just absolutely destroy. Am I dead? I'm dead. That's the way it goes. So I will say on this team that Poison Ivy is kind of a pain in the butt. So that will end that run. There's no way I can actually do that right now. I'll have to figure out a way to get past that a little bit later. Poison Ivy does kind of screw him up. It is what it is. If I can get the stun on her, maybe we can try it one more time. Hopefully I can get that stun. And then that's how I'm going to win this level, is that I need to get a lucky stun by the Batmobile on Poison Ivy, so Poison Ivy isn't the one that can ult. But that is just, it is what it is, because she's going to hit that and it's going to like legitimately just murder my team. And there's just nothing I can really do to stop that from happening. Hopefully if I get the ult here, would that work? Will it work? Will it work? No, it won't. Yeah, everyone's dead again. Oh well, that's life. Okay, so that is essentially the end of that run. Again, I do think overall he's amazing. Let me pause real quick and I'll just go one more place. Okay, so we're going to showcase one more area. Now, one of the reasons I like this area, now I'm on easy, so this is like because my team is way stronger than the other team, but I want to showcase something about this. Did I get the, no, I did not. No, we'll just leave it like this. Oh, nope, sorry. Okay, now one of the reasons I want to showcase this is because in the system recovery, you only have 4 characters. There's only 4 enemies. For AoE characters, again, that does matter. You have 1 less enemy you're dealing with. Hal Jordan doesn't, I mean, he does care about the number of enemies, but it's not as big of a deal for him because the less enemies just means he does more damage to the one single enemy, right? As opposed to spreading his damage out across all of the different enemies. So that's why I think he's such a versatile and amazing character, is because he's not really AoE and he's not really single target. He just works in both scenarios. On top of it, on the Mr. T's team, that cleanse, once it gets to rank 10, is going to be huge. It will add as a form of, not only is he giving the team's shields, he's also healing the team because he's debuffing, or he's cleansing himself. So to me, Hal Jordan is just a wonderful character. But I'm going to talk about some of his negatives in a little bit. When we come back to the actual, like discussing and reviewing him as a character, because this is what I want this video to be for people, is like a review of these characters, kind of at the point where they're moving into the late game. So let's go back now and let's talk about him as a general character overall. Okay. Overall, I think Hal Jordan is an amazing DPS character. I think he's one of the best characters in the game in terms of DPS, because I think he's offering a lot, but it needs to be noted, he is very niche. And what do I mean by niche? He works on Lex Luthor's team. He works on Mr. T's team. But he doesn't work on block because the shields don't synergize with block. He's not classified as an AoE character. So he doesn't work with Green Arrow. So one of the things that's interesting about him is he is really good in very specific setups. If you have that setup and that's your main team, then he's very good. If you don't have that and you're looking for more like, spread out of characters, and he's not that, then he's good, but there are other characters that just do what he does, but better. Like if you're just trying to find a general DPS, go with Wonder Woman, because she's doing a lot. She's same typing as him, mighty DPS, but she works in a lot of other scenarios beyond him. He is very good in very specific scenarios. Now, remember, Wonder Woman doesn't really work on, I mean, she does, but not as well as him on Mr. T's team. On Mr. T's team, she's just a tank, but she has no superpower damage, so she's not getting the same kind of buffs that he's getting, and on top of it, she's not getting any lifesteal. So it's really important to understand that, because he synergizes so amazingly well with Mr. T because of the cleanse too. At rank 10, Mr. T's team synergy, he is also giving your team not only a shield at that point, he's also giving them heals. I know I've mentioned that many times, but I just want to highlight how well he synergizes with Mr. T, who has a very, very strong leader skill. I think Mr. T really did buff Hal Jordan into S tier. If you're running Hal Jordan and Mr. T, I actually think Hal Jordan is probably, and maybe people will argue with me on this one, I think he's the best DPS character in the game because of the way he synergizes on Mr. T's team. Now, if he's not on Mr. Team, I do not think he's S tier. Even on Lex Luthor, he's not doing anywhere near as much damage as we were watching him today. I don't have my Lex team built up that much anymore, which is why I don't want to use that team. It would give kind of like a not good impression. I don't want to say not good, but it wouldn't be an accurate representation, because if I'm showcasing two different teams, they need to be very similar in power level so that I can showcase this character very differently. One of the things I did really want to showcase about him, though, is just the synergy that he gives that team and how amazing he is on that team. I would really encourage people, if you are running the Mr. T team, save for Hal Jordan when he comes out. Maybe there will be a better character, but also take note, we do know there is a Lantern season coming out. I am very curious to see what they do with the Lanterns and how I would imagine Hal Jordan is going to get another buff. I see him getting more buffs in the very near future, which is why I say he is very good and he might only get better. The one thing that I will also say right now, we don't have his character specific artifact. We already got Wonder Woman's, so I'm going to say this, and people might argue with this. I do think Wonder Woman right now is kind of sitting at her peak. We also, with Green Arrow, she's just, those two synergize so well together, right? Now, he works very well on Mr. T. I think he's super amazing on Mr. T's team, but we don't have like a Green Lantern specific team. We got Krona's, but that's an artifact for Guy, but we are waiting right now there is potential Like, what if they release a lantern, like a really crazy lantern leader skill that works with, Lex Luthor, and then Guy can run on that team. We've got Guy, Jess, and Hal, and then whoever the new lantern is. Like, whenever someone gets a shield, they get like this massive attack power bonus or something. I don't know, but my point is that I really see that there is a lot of potential. What if they make an artifact like every instance of ult beyond the first, like increases damage, so it only adds to him even further? I mean, I'm just saying, I think he has a ton of room to grow. But at the same time, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm going to be totally wrong on this one. And, he doesn't get any buffs. And, we're seeing his peak right now. Or maybe they power creep him. Who knows? But I'm just going to say right now, he is, with Mr. T, great character. That team, it feels like one of the strongest teams in the game. And I think overall, he brings a lot to the team with the cleanse, with the shields, with the amount of damage he's doing. Especially, you saw most fights, I ended it even at higher deficits. Round 3, he just ended it. It was done. Fight's over, because of how I set up his... I think also with the new crypto, he does synergize well with the crypto, especially at rank 2 crypto, who gives dampen. Dampen increases superpower damage, yada, yada, yada. You get the idea. It makes him hit even harder. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, again, feel free to argue with me. I hope everyone is having a good day. And as always, remember, failing is just your first attempt in learning.